broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Houston, Texas. It's time for Houston Business Radio. Now, here's your host.
Hello, Houston. Trisha Stutzel here, bringing you another episode of Houston Business Radio. I'm so excited about the guest that I have on today that was introduced to me by Amy Reed. You guys probably heard her show just a few weeks back. Troy Morris with the Satop program, which is the Space Alliance Technology Outreach Program. Troy is a project specialist with the Space Alliance Technology Outreach Program. He works with various engineering firms to provide free technical engineering assistance to small businesses, entrepreneurs, and investors. Yes, you heard me right. This is administered through a 40-hour technical assistance program and through a university capstone program. Troy Morris, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having us, or having me, I should say.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk about this program. When you and I were having a conversation, but it's been about a month ago, I was so excited because I'd never heard of it. And you probably get that all the time. Like, How do people not know about this program? So I said, Troy, you have to come on the show so we can talk about this program. Before we get started, though, I would love for people to learn more about you. So who is Troy?
Yeah. So I've been with the Satop program for a couple years now. Prior to that, actually, my background is in the tax business. I spent about 10 years in Houston working with various engineering firms with their tax businesses and their tax models. And so I kind of got a foundation of the different firms, Jacobs, KBR, all those guys, and kind of built some connections through there. And then kind of when that part of my career came to a close, I learned about Satop and what they've been doing, because they've been around a while, actually. But prior to me coming on, I hadn't heard of it either. And traditionally, it was just it's just been the Houston Bay Area. But now Satop as a program is expanding across the whole state of Texas. So really what I've been doing is kind of leveraging my contacts with the various different engineering firms and using that to promote Satop as a program and how it can benefit all the different small businesses.
Okay, so give us the basics of the program, and then we can take a deeper dive into some of those areas.
Yeah. So Satop is a program, like you said, it provides free technical engineering assistance to small businesses, and we do it a couple different ways. So like I said, traditionally, Satop was just in the Bay Area of Houston, but actually it's been around for about 20 years. And when it first started, it was a national program. Actually, we had offices in, New York, Florida, New Mexico. And one by one, each of those branches of the program just ceased to exist. Texas is really the area where it's just continued to remain pretty stable. And there seems to be a need here for it, especially with the small business climate of the state. And it is state funded. So it's funded by the Texas legislature. And that money is used to bring aboard engineering firms to help small businesses and also to market and promote the program. So what we do is we leverage a network of what we call alliance partners. NASA's one of them. We have some larger engineering firms. We also have some smaller engineering firms as well, some of which are just one-man shows who are trying to get their name out there. So it's a different variety, and it doesn't cost the alliance partners anything to join, and they don't have to work on any projects that don't seem of interest to them, because different engineering firms have different areas of expertise. And so with us, it's about acquiring pretty much as many alliance partners as we can to cover different areas, because there's really no drawback for them joining, because they don't really have to work on anything that doesn't make sense for them to work on. And so we leverage this network, and what we do is we submit proposals to them that these small businesses are giving us. And with their approval, obviously, first, we send this to different alliance partners to work on. If they agree, then we coordinate a meeting between whoever the requester is of our program and the alliance partner, so they can hammer out the details, make sure they understand what the scope of work is, just make sure basically we're managing expectations. And from there, they will provide up to 40 hours of their time of free engineering assistance, whatever that might entail. These projects are all very different. So sometimes it's, material selection, sometimes it's design, sometimes it's quite literally just their technical input, their advice, their expertise. The idea is that these small businesses either don't have the resources to go pay a large sum to an engineering firm to try to hammer out whatever prototype or product they are working on, or they don't have the technical background to tackle that challenge themselves. So this program is meant as a bridge to connect them to the expertise at no cost to them. And once that 40 hours has expired, that's kind of the end of that project. Obviously, not everything can get solved in 40 hours. Some projects are just very large. So when we initially meet with these requesters, we kind of do an analysis of their project. We just look at what all they're trying to tackle, what's a priority for them. And if a project is deemed very large, has multiple facets to it, we do have the avenue of university capstone program. And what that is where a team of senior engineering students at a university, usually it's 4 to 5 of them, in their last semester or last 2 semesters of school, will work on this project or whatever this prototype is as a capstone course. And obviously, under the guidance of a faculty member, they work on this project over the course of a year. Currently, the universities we've partnered with is A&M College Station. They're the largest one we're with right now. I'll be up there next month for their engineering capstone, where they showcase a lot of these. We're just got through wrapping up about a dozen projects with them. We also partner with Texas State University in San Marcos, with Sam Houston State, University of Houston Clear Lake, and also A&M Galveston as well. We have a few projects with them.
Okay.
And really, that's a year-long project. They spend 2 semesters working on it, and the small business owner will meet with the students, give them their overall vision of the product, what they're kind of expecting, and it's up to the students at that point to tackle the project. And it's really cool because they get really into it. And the idea is that it gives the students real-world experience dealing with a potential client in whatever engineering expertise they're going to go into, and the requester gets to see what the overall product that they get out of the program is. And again, it's at no cost to them.
That's just amazing. Like, my mind is just completely blown that I don't know about it. And I'm guessing that most of the listeners have no idea that Satop even exists. So I'd like to start from the beginning. An entrepreneur has a project. Talk to me about the types of people who are applying, or the types of entrepreneurs that are applying for these 40 hours of technical assistance, or even moving into the university capstone program.
Yeah, absolutely. And what Satop, really the main kind of projects we handle is physical prototypes. Every now and then we'll get some a requester who will kind of reach out to us and say, hey, I already got a prototype. I need 1,000 manufactured or something of that nature. And we'll refer them to an organization like Texas Manufacturing Assistance Center or something like that. And what our aim is product development. And so if someone has an idea that they're trying to get off the ground of some sort of prototype or product, what we'll do is we'll refer them to our website, www.satop.space, and we have a request form right there. And it's pretty basic. It's like 5 or 6 lines of just their name and what their challenges that they're facing, just a brief summary. And they'll hit submit on our website. It gets sent out to myself and all of our team. We have about 6 employees on our team, so we're all monitoring our emails, and we'll reach out either the same day or the very next business day. We don't make it any longer than that, and we'll coordinate a meeting either in person over Zoom and talk to them, try to get a little bit more detail. From that meeting, we'll have them fill out what's called a request for technical assistance. And it's similar to what they did on our website, just a little bit more in depth. What's your expectation for this product? What do you plan to do with it? And again, we just kind of hammer out what exactly the scope they're trying to deal with is, whether it be some sort of design issue, or they already have a design, but it's some particular piece of that they're trying to get figured out. And once that form is submitted to us, we'll draft what we call our proposal. It's just a one-page uh, proposal we fill out. It's a brief summary of the scope of work, preferably with a picture of a prototype if they have it. And with their approval first, that is what is distributed to our network of alliance partners. And from then on, one of our alliance partners will reach back out to us. Usually they do within a few days or sometimes a week. Some of the larger organizations take a little bit longer to reply because they have to distribute it to their internal network. So we try to give them a little bit of time to reply. And once they do, we usually have a few different firms or businesses replying to us. So from then we vet through and look what makes the most sense, who benefits the most in terms of both the business and the requester. And so from then we'll coordinate a initial meeting with the small business owner and the whichever engineering firm is working on the project. And we'll have them meet each other, and they'll hammer out the details of the project as well, make sure we're all on the same page. It is important to note the whole purpose of that proposal we drafted is so we have something in writing that shows this is the scope you are working on. We're not doing anything outside of that. Just manage expectations here. And usually that's not an issue at all. Again, we get the small business owner's approval on that scope of work first before we send it. But from there, the engineer will spend 40 hours working on it. They can meet however often the requester would like. If it's a university capstone program, we'll distribute that same proposal to our network of universities. And we have a contact at each one in their engineering department. And I mean, they're all awesome. They're great. They love getting these kinds of projects. So, I mean, we love sending it to them. We just want to make sure that the scope of work makes sense for the students and that everything's very crystal clear. And they'll reach back out to us and say, oh, yeah, we'll send this over to computer engineering, or we'll send it over to our manufacturing, engineering department. I mean, some of them are kind of smaller, but then in the case if we're sending it to A&M College Station, I mean, they've got a gazillion departments. They're just huge. But from then, a faculty member will reach back out to us, and we'll coordinate a meeting between the faculty member and the requester. With the university program, though, it is important to note, and we try to explain this to the small business owners first, that you are on the university's timeline, if that's the case, meaning whenever the fall semester starts or spring semester starts. I mean, it's just, it's going to be a 2-semester project, and it's whenever the semester starts because that's when the students start the class. So once that starts, they meet with the students, usually once a week or once every 2 weeks over Zoom or however they want to do it. And the students will just always come back and ask questions, and they'll say, oh, yeah, I kind of want this, or this looks good, this doesn't look good. And they'll keep going. And with the university capstone program, the first semester will always be they call the design phase. And then the second semester is actually assembly and prototyping of the project and everything.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So, give me some examples of a 40-hour engagement. Like, what kinds of things are entrepreneurs asking for in the 40-hour program? And then what are some examples of the capstone university programs or projects? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, for example, we we've had a few this past year, but one individual, without giving away too much information, was working on it was a simple, almost like a sun visor for an automobile, and it attached to like the windshield. And when he first came to us, we were kind of thinking, really? I mean, why don't you just put the little mirror down or something? But he actually had a very big client base that was looking at it. Professional trucking industries were asking him about it because apparently when you're driving in Texas and the sun's coming through the windshield, you still get, sunburned and everything. And apparently whatever's in the trucks isn't quite covering them. And he already had his design. He noticed the material he was using wasn't cutting it. It just wasn't stopping, or it was stopping it to a degree, just not what they were expecting. So we had one of our professors, or I'm saying professor because he's a retired professor, then he owns his own consulting firm now. And we had him look into it, and he did basically spend 40 hours researching different materials that the guy can use in his prototype, and it was successful. He's already started marketing it out to different logistic distribution companies who have already been interested in it. In fact, we need to follow up with him again, but he's already had some success with that. It was one of those projects that was simpler than you would think, but the professor gave him a very detailed, I think it was like 75 pages of recommendations.
Wow.
Thrilled with it, and it was at no cost to him. So, I mean, that was a great project. That was, last summer. I think included it last September, or last August, but that was a really great one. With the university capstone program, that's been very popular lately with these requesters, because they go with the understanding that yes, it's going to take a while, but what we've noticed is a lot of these small businesses have been working on these prototypes for years now. So another year, they don't seem to mind at all. But they do go in with the expectation that these are students. Yes, they're under the guidance of a faculty member, but these are students at the end of the day working on this. It's not, to be blunt, free labor. It's, it needs to be an academic experience for them, and you need to be available to participate in meetings. And we explain all that to these guys beforehand. But actually, we were very proud because this last semester in the fall semester, we just wrapped up a project with A&M College Station, and at the end of each semester, they have what's called an engineering capstone showcase, where all the different teams showcase all the products they worked on and everything. And gosh, they have I think they had over 400 this last semester, and one of our projects got second place overall, so we were happy about that.
Awesome.
It was a couple individuals who have they create a machine that fills sandbags, basically, is what it does, but it's all automated. And they were having multiple issues with it, with the hydraulics in it and all sorts of mechanical issues. And so A&M took the project and they said, yeah, let's give it to our mechanical engineering department. And I think they had a team of 6 students work on it, actually. And they worked on it starting spring of 2024 and then concluded in fall 2024. And those kids really got into it. They did a great job. They had a full blown prototype by the end of it that was filling sandbags at I can't remember the exact rate it was doing, but they were filling them very quickly. And those guys were, ecstatic about it. They lived over in Waller, Texas, and the students were traveling from College Station to Waller to meet them constantly in person with questions. It was really cool. And actually, they just, from what I understand, because I was just talking to this guy a couple weeks ago, they just got a contract with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for a bunch of, because they like their technology with filling sandbags. Apparently, with disaster relief and flood control, they were very interested in that. So they had a lot of success with that. But again, I'm going to keep saying this. It was at no cost to them. It was free. All it cost was their time with the students. And it was great. And obviously we were happy because they won second place out of like 400 teams.
Yes, that is amazing. So are there any qualifications that these entrepreneurs or these business owners have to have pre-requesting help from Satop?
They just need to operate in the state of Texas. It's a state-funded program, so the idea is that we're investing the money that's given from the legislature back into the state to help the overall economic landscape of Texas. The idea is to help these small businesses grow, give them a leg up with these prototypes that they're trying to get off the ground and running. And a lot of what we're discovering is that a lot of this technology that these businesses are trying to figure out or trying to apply actually already exists. And these engineers are looking into it and saying, oh, yeah, there's something with this that we used on this project, 6 years ago here, and they would apply that as well. And that's actually how the program started, because NASA worked on a lot of these projects, and they applied quite a bit of technology from the space program and applied it into the commercial sector. And I will give one more success story if that's all right.
Yes.
Because it was a very, very early project. So it was actually before my time with Satop, but I always love reading about it because it was just so cool. But they it was actually for a hospital, and it was for infants that were born prematurely and transporting them in ambulances. A lot of the turbulence was proving to be very troublesome, potentially, very, very dangerous with transporting these infants, especially because they're so tiny. And so they were looking for a way to either get rid of the turbulence altogether or drastically reduce it. And we actually had two NASA engineers looking at it. And on the International Space Station, they have a treadmill up there that the astronauts use. And they actually applied some of that dampening technology from the treadmill in the International Space Station to these transporters that they're putting on the ambulances to transport infants to various hospitals or various different sections. And actually, they got rid of the turbulence altogether. That was probably like 15 years ago, but they're still using it. Actually, Texas Children's Hospital is still using it today. And it was just so crazy because it was a very simple project, very quick fix, but who would have known?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So the website again, guys, is satop.space. So go to satop.space and you'll find the application, the information that Troy's been talking about. Troy, if anyone has any questions, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Yeah. If they have any questions, they can always go to that inquiry form on our website that Trisha just said, and just fill it out really quick. It'll send an email to the entire team, and we'll reply with it either the same day or the very next business day. If you want to reach out to myself directly, feel free. It's troy@bayareahouston.com. We are a program that is administered by the Bay Area Houston Economic Partnership, BAHEP. We're just a street down from NASA over in Clear Lake. And Satop, like I said, has been around for quite some time, but now we're expanding across the entire state of Texas. So just to qualify, you just need to do business in the state of Texas. You don't necessarily need to have a formal, business license or anything. If you're just someone trying to get the ground up and running, we may look into maybe some DBA options for the business or something. But I do want to clarify that that's certainly not something that would prohibit you from using our program if you don't have a license.
Wow. Okay, you guys, if you didn't catch it already, you get 40 hours of engineering assistance through these alliance partners and or depending on the project, maybe a full year from a university capstone program. All right, so we still have a few minutes left together and I want to focus on the alliance partners because there may be people listening who want to get involved or engaged from that perspective. So, how do you said you need more partners. So how, if people are wanting to get engaged, what are you looking for in an alliance partner and how do they get engaged?
So with alliance partners, really there's there's not really a constraint to apply. Now we're pretty much open to anyone. We would obviously meet with them first to see what their expertise is and what they would cover, so we know what kind of projects to send them. But there is no limit to what they can work on. There's nothing in a contract or anything that says you have to work on this many projects, for this year or something. They can work on whatever they want, and the requesters who work on this are informed of that as well. That this is essentially uh, a relationship with us and the alliance partner, and they do not have to work on anything that obviously does not make sense for them to work on. And they also are in the understanding as well that these engineers are, they have their daytime jobs as well. Now, with the alliance partners, if they're working on a 40-hour program, Satop does use the money to compensate them, $100 an hour for the 40-hour program. And that money is intended to be used back into professional development for the company that's using it. And so they can use that however they want, obviously. But with alliance partners, really, they would just sit down and meet with us, explain what their expertise is, and we'll just see what kind of projects we have, and if anything makes sense to send them their way, that's what we'll do. It just depends because there's so many different, aspects. Anything involved with sensors, that's such a niche section of engineering, or fluid dynamics, that's another very niche sector. So. And it's pretty cool because we have some bigger names like Jacobs and KBR and some of those guys in the area, but we also we just signed on an individual up in Austin, Texas. I met him, at an event in San Antonio, I think, last year, but he owns his own engineering consulting firm up in Austin. He's a one-man show, and he has been phenomenal. He's already taken so many projects, and he's done a fantastic job, and he loves working with these small businesses. So if anyone is interested, feel free to reach out. Again, my email is troy@bayareahouston.com, and I'd be more than happy to meet with you. We're always looking to expand our network of alliance partners.
Fantastic. So engineering firms, even these solo engineering companies, consultants, universities, any aerospace companies, any other industries that might be interested in being an alliance partner?
Yeah, we'll aerospace companies as well, whatever their engineering expertise is. What we found is a lot of these different products that we're looking at. Like I said, the technology already exists, and they can apply it from the aerospace area or the space program into these projects. Now, despite the name Space Alliance Technology Outreach Program, these products do not need to be space related. I just want to make sure I make that very clear. It's a question I've gotten very often. We've done everything from medical devices to agricultural projects to beauty products. I mean, it's been all across the board. So it's any kind of prototype that you're looking at. We do cover all industries. And with the engineering firms, it is pretty much all areas of engineering. We're in Clear Lake, so we've got all of these different. Axiom down the street, Intuitive Machines. Aegis is another one of our alliance partners, and they've done some projects for us as well. And we do also have professors from community colleges like San Jack down the street who work on 40-hour projects for us as well.
Fantastic. Troy, this has been amazing. Thank you for coming and talking to me about the Satop program. And for the listeners, I hope you guys got some really great value out of this. It is a program we need to take advantage of. So if you're struggling or if you're starting up, this is a great place to go if you really need some help figuring out this product, right? That you want to put in front of people. So again, if you want to contact Troy, it's troy@bayareahouston.com, or you can go to the website at satop.space, SATOP.space. I'll put all of that in the show notes so you can point and click if you happen to be sitting at your computer. Troy, thank you so much for being on with me today. This has been fun.
Thank you for having me.
That's all the time we have for today's show. Join us next time for another amazing episode of Houston Business Radio. Until then, stay tuned, stay inspired, and keep thriving in the Houston business community.